come down here, you're gonna get something to take back with you. You dig it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those are I'm very conflicted at the moment because I am currently sick. I had a oh my gosh, disgusting fever all day, all throughout work, all throughout the drive home. And then I get home, right? Now I'm pumped up on meds, got that acetaminophen type wave. And now I'm watching highlight reels of Brian Dawkins, the most intense NFL safety to ever play the game. Weapon X, mind you. And he just told me, he's telling me in this video that if you come around here, you're going to get something to leave with. You dig it? Yeah, now I'm feeling jazzed. And my body's not jazzed, but my mind, straight as an arrow towards what I got today. Um, and that's my cold open, as you could tell. I had no idea how I was going to start, but I just started watching that, and hey, now I'm Bry Dawk. What can I say? And yeah, welcome to What Lights Your Fire. Yay, thank you for joining me on this fine, fine evening. For me, it's an evening. For you, it could be whatever time of day. Doesn't matter. Whatever fine time of day it is. And this is episode 11. We have now broken into the double digits. And like I said earlier, um, I'm sick right now, so I apologize for any sniffles I might be giving off. You know, don't call me Sniffles, but it might be my nickname for this episode. And yeah, so let's get to the theme of this episode, which, by the way, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. We very much welcome you. And I speak for the majority, okay? I speak for the majority. I can't promise everybody is welcoming you here. This might be a click to them. We don't know. But I'm welcoming you with open arms and with open hugs, okay? And like I said, episode 11. Um, my brain is a sick brain, so this might be a little bit more rambly, but you know what? You're gonna stick with me because I got some good points to make, and I got something to talk about. All right, let's give them something to talk about. Whatever song that is, and yeah. So the theme of today's episode, which I can't really play what I was gonna play because it was just gonna be David Bowie's Changes, which, by the way, there's a little anecdote. Every time I hear that song on the radio, and my lovely girlfriend is in the car with me, she'll immediately, without missing a step, go, "Oh, this is the song from Shrek." And I think about that once a day. She doesn't know the name of the song, just knows it's from Shrek. But yeah, um, I was gonna play "Changes" by David Bowie. Bowie? Yeah, I don't know. And because that's the theme today. It's changes, change, and allowing change to light your fire. Okay. And I'll break down what that means to me and what how I'm planning on implementing that in my lifestyle this week, and how hopefully I can challenge you to implement it in yours. Um, so change, right? It's the one constant in life. It's really you know taxation and change, and that's what you got. But seriously, change it's inevitable. Not to quote Thanos or anything, but it's inevitable. It is going to happen, whether you like it or not. And there's big change, there's little change. Now I've seen change from a distance before, and I've been a part of change. And, you know, depending on what it is, you take a position and you say, "Oh, I'd rather be on this side of this," or, "I don't want this to happen," or, "Oh, I'm looking forward to this." And that's just going to happen with, negative and positive changes in your life. But I'm going to talk about general change because good or bad, it makes you into a new person each day. And that new person that you are after the change, you can't go back to the old you. And you just can't. Because, like I said, change is going to happen. And it's going to affect, there's going to be some sort of, effects in one way or another. Whether that means it changes you as a whole, whether it's a really, it's a traumatic event or something of the sort, or it's minimal, or it's like your daily commute to work has been changed because, oh, for instance, my daily commute to work, um, it got changed. There was an exit that closed on the highway. Hey, That adds more traffic for me. So that means I got to leave a little bit earlier. And is that okay? Yes. Do I like it? Not at all. But in the end of, at the end of the day, it really is very minor because it's just a little bit of a burden. But I'm going to take it as instead of a burden, it's making me get up earlier, start my day earlier. I walk out the door and I'm telling myself, I get up at 4 a.m. every day, and by the time I'm in my car around 5, I get to speak out loud and say, you know what? Not many people are doing this. And then I get on the highway and I realize a lot of people are doing this. But it makes me feel a little bit better, knowing that I'm getting up a little bit earlier, going to bed a little bit earlier, um, and just kind of adapting to the change instead of dreading, waking up a little bit earlier. And but that's the daily commute thing, like I was talking about. And I think in the grand scheme of life, that's a very minor change because I'm not going to be doing this commute forever. I won't. And really, it just makes me that much more motivated to get up and out of bed in the morning because then I'll have more time to do what I want to do, like make breakfast or relax or whatever, shower. And but that's the point, is that that was going to happen regardless of if I had a say in it or not. Do you really think that VDOT, you really think that the Virginia Department of Transportation was going to say, shoot, we got to close exit 45. Did anyone check with Michael? Did anyone call him? Crap, we didn't. No, they're not going to say that. And that's okay. It's inevitable. And I was glad to take that in stride. And honestly, the first day I was thrown into the wind because I was like, "Oh, you know, this is a little bit more annoying. I'm not going to get to work on time. I'm going to have to stay a little bit later." But then, like I said, I adapted and here I am. And that's just kind of an example that came to me on the fly with the whole commute thing, but you get the gist. Is that there's small change and then there's big change. Both are going to come regardless. How are you going to bounce off of them? How are you going to let it change you? Oh my goodness. Now, tell me that isn't like Socrates level. Now, that could just be because I'm sick. I don't know. But that's what motivates me is change is going to happen. Why not let it change me? Why not? I'm not a perfect person. I'm by far uh, I'm the most imperfect person. Truthfully, in my own eye, because I can be better every day. So, there's that sickness. If I let change negatively affect me, if I let it get me down, if I let it, put me in a bummer, like for instance, the commute, I could have been pissed off. I could have slept in a little bit longer. I could have gotten to a slower start to my day. I could have just, been stuck in a little bit more traffic. But instead, I'm letting it change me for the better because I'm welcoming it. I'm having that attitude of, all right, throw at me, throw at me. I'll bounce with it. Doesn't matter what life has. I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna let it change me for the better. Because there's things in your life that, unless change happens, you really don't know that something could be better. You don't know that there could be a better you in terms of your lifestyle or a role at work or, um, you know, your daily commute, like I was talking about, or whatever it is. You get the point. Is that there's always some sort of good that can come out of this. And I know that's hard, and that's very easy for me to just say, right? That's very easy for me to just say. And it's hard to actually do and put in practice, especially with big traumatic change or, life altering change. Like, say that you move across the country. Um, I'll give a great example though. My sister, my sister decided to uproot her life a couple years ago and completely move out of her comfort zone and move from coast to coast. Now, I think that's a self-implemented change, but it's change because I think in her plan it was going to happen regardless. I really do because I think that she fits well out there and out there on the other coast. And I don't think that without the mindset of okay, let me start this now, that she would have looked at it in a little bit different light. Like if it came to her naturally for a job, maybe she wouldn't have been as excited. And I went with her for half the trip, and I got to see, you know, her excitement as she got closer to her destination. And so that's how I knew it changed her for the better, to uproot her life and change, her lifestyle and change her positioning in life and the people she'd be around most of the time. But I'm damn, I'm proud of her because she let it change her for the better. She decided to implement change, and it now has bettered her, in my opinion, because she's at a great point, in her life. And if you have the ability to implement change, if you do, I mean, by all means. I understand that there's a lot of people that do not like change. I personally, I'm neutral sometimes, neutral. And why do I say that? Because, well, there's negative change, and no one really likes that. But when there's change in my character due to life's ups and downs, I take that with a happy attitude because I know, like I said, I'm not perfect. I know there's a lot of room for me to grow as a person. And, if there's one little thing to change here and there, so be it. Because I'm a persistent rough draft of an essay. There's always some room, a wiggle room, here and there. Take out chunks, do this, do that, paste, copy, paste. It doesn't matter how you rearrange. I think that rearranging is good every now and again. And that's what's lighting my fire this week. And it's getting me a little bit more motivated right now because, if I could change my attitude to be like Brian Dawkins, like I was talking about, for anyone who knows who he is, or if you don't know who he is, he's a football player in the NFL. Okay, for when I was growing up, he was electric. All right, he was crazy. He was insane. All right. One time I saw a video of him level this guy, get up, and he had a microphone. Like sometimes they mic up players, and he said, "Oh, thank you, sweet baby Jesus," and I lost it. Okay, I lost it. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. He just went and cleaned someone's clock, got up and thanked Jesus for the opportunity to get to hit that guy because he was so ready to go to work. All right. That's insane. And that's the kind of level of change that my point is if I could change and have that kind of attitude at my work or, in my desires to follow my aspirations or whatever it is, then I think that there's always room to grow and there's always room to let change hit me and say, okay, Michael, you can go be like Weapon X here, or you can sulk and you can, rot in your despair. Whatever you think is wrong, you sit in it. And I think that that's a hard way to go through life. So let change happen to you this week. That's my challenge. Let it happen. Now I'm not saying, all right, there's obviously levels to this. If someone, decides to just, I don't know, put their parking ticket on your car, obviously that doesn't work like that, but say it happens, that's not change like that. I'm not saying let the universe just do its thing. What I'm saying is when presented with change, like for me this week, at my work, we had a meeting and policies changing. We're adding a certain element to our daily schedules we haven't had before, and it's going to be experimental in nature. I could have said, like one of my other coworkers, I heard under his breath, he went, "Oh, I could tell he was not happy. But me, I decided to not take that attitude. I decided to listen to my bosses, and ultimately I realized that, okay, this is experimental in nature, right? Like I'm saying. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We tried something, and we can always revise it or implement it further if it's a success. Oh, dying. But that was my attitude because I decided this week on Monday that I'm going to let change happen. I'm not going to let it run my life, but I'm going to let it motivate me to be that better person or to advance myself in one way or another or let it change me. All right, that's the theme of this episode. Let change you for the better. Don't let it change you for the worse because it's very easy to do. It's very easy to follow, your to fall into despair and fall into the pit. It is very easy to fall into the pit. But I challenge you not to. I challenge you to leap and honestly bound over that thing, all right? And let the change you for the better. Because, like I said, hey, change is inevitable. It is inevitable. But if you're like Brian Dawkins, now I think that that's a better version of yourself that you could have been. Now, this is the point in the episode where I'm starting to ramble, but also I'm sick, so I don't know what I just said. Hopefully, in that incoherent mess, there was some good message that you could take out of it to motivate you this week, to make you uh, want to, you know, change for the better every day. And I'm not saying it has to be a big change every day, but there's always something I believe, truthfully, I believe, that we could change about our attitude, about the way we carry ourselves, about the reasons why we're, striving for goals. Or we could change our goals if they, seem to be too much to ask of ourselves at any given time. Or we can, you know, the list is endless, really. There's always room for change, and it is inevitable. So if it's going to happen to you this week, big or small, I challenge you, let it happen. Take a deep breath, and then tell yourself, all right, how's this going to change me? How am I going to approach this change? And most importantly, how is it going to light my fire? Wow. Okay. Okay. I got to take a deep breath after that one. Whew, whoa. All right. That took all my energy. That took all my brain power. But I think in today's 11th episode of What Lights Your Fire, that's a good way to conclude. And I just want to say, thank you guys for listening. If you like this show, please, subscribe, tell your friends, do whatever you want. Um, you like it, don't like it, doesn't matter. But I just appreciate your ears to listen, and mostly, uh, I appreciate you guys for being motivated and wanting to be motivated. So I'm proud of you. Keep working hard. Um, reach out to me if you ever want to talk, or email me if you have an episode idea. Please email me. Um, I know I might sound like a creative genius, but sometimes I struggle. And yeah, this has been We'll Let You Fire, episode 11. Go follow the Instagram. Go, hey, we're on Apple Podcasts, by the way. We are on Apple Podcasts. That is a new development this week. And if that suits your fancy, welcome. And if it doesn't, then continue doing what you're doing. Have a great week. Stay motivated. And I will see you, or I guess I'll talk to you in the next one.